Okay, so the first pepper we have here today, this is called a Peach Starkist, and this is a cousin to the Kingstar Lemon Starburst, and Kingstar actually made this one as well. And this has kind of a fruity taste. It's mild in heat, and by mild, you're still looking at, you know, 100,000 Scoville or whatever it might be. I don't think it's been tested, but this is definitely gonna be hotter than a jalapeno, but still mild. These are awesome peppers. They'll grow 100+ pods on a plant. This plant still has a ton of peppers that just aren't ripe yet, but there's probably 80 to 100 of them on here. This thing is just completely loaded up, fallen over. It's wild. I love it. Ooh, this Peach Starkist here, I can see it already. Check this out. Wow. This thing is beautiful. Next up, we have the Kingstar White Thai, and this is one of the peppers I was most excited to grow this season. This is a Thai pepper. When it first starts growing, it grows from green and then starts turning into like this cream-ish white color. And then once it goes from white, it starts getting these purple blemishes on it. And then before you know it, the whole pepper is more or less a purple color. After that, it starts turning into an orange and then down into a red. But you want to start harvesting these when they are the white or maybe into the purple blemish stage. That's when they're going to taste the best. This is a really sweet pepper with some decent heat that's attached onto it. What we're going to be doing is we're taking these peppers and we're going to can them whole, so that way we can use them with our meals later. Next up, we have the Hurtberry, and the Hurtberry is one of the peppers we were most excited to grow this season. We grew it last season, and it's a really prolific pepper. It packs some serious heat. This is definitely a super hot. You're looking at 1.5+ million Scoville heat units, and we actually grew these from the seeds we had for them last year. What we end up doing is if we can't use them fresh, we end up freezing them and using them for sauces later. Awesome pepper, and I absolutely love this one. These ones here are Fatali, and these are ones that I've honestly wanted to grow for the last probably 3 years or so, but I've never actually grown them. These are a orangish yellow pepper, and you're looking at a little bit above a habanero level heat. They're not super wrinkly like some of your other super hots, but they pack a lot of flavor and a lot of heat, so they're really good for sauces and stuff like that. The plants are extremely prolific. They grow really big, put on a lot of pods. Super awesome pepper if you're looking to just get that mid-range heat. So you hear a lot about how peppers can cross with other peppers, right? Well, this is a prime example of that happening. Last season I grew some really awesome peppers called Big Black Mama, and they're a chocolate super hot pepper, and they were just super prolific, and I grew tons and tons of peppers. They were super hot, awesome for sauces, really cool pepper. Well, I saved seeds from them last year, and I didn't isolate those seeds. I just pulled them off the plant and saved the seeds. Well, as you can see, I don't space my plants very far apart, so they all grew together. Well, these peppers are supposed to be chocolate peppers, and they are completely red. So I don't know what they crossed with last season. I know they were right next to the Hurtberries, so it's a very real possibility that these crossed with the Hurtberry last year. I don't know. All I know is that I got some gnarly looking big red pods out of these this season. Either way, I'm still happy. Honestly, red pods are gonna taste better than a chocolate pod in my opinion anyways. That's kind of just something that happens. It's a nice little surprise that you get when you save your own seeds without isolating. You kind of start creating your own unintentional crosses. Next up is one of my absolute favorite peppers to grow. This is called a Bahamian Goat. This plant gets huge, and once it gets huge, it puts on so many pods. And these are mid-range heat, habanero level, super awesome, like kind of fruity taste. And the plants that I have here, they grew so many peppers that the branches just kind of fell onto the ground. We just had a baby, so we haven't been able to spend a whole lot of time in the garden. And right about the time we were having the baby, all the peppers started loading up, branches started to fall, and I wasn't there to be propping them up. These were pretty much on the ground, but they're still good peppers, and I'm extremely excited to use these in a bunch of sauces. The next one we have here is a Piri Piri, and these peppers are relatively hot. They have a good fruity taste. This is a perfect pepper for sauces. Oh yeah, that's good. Took me by surprise there for a little bit. This is a perfect pepper for sauces. We've been using the green peppers in a cilantro heavy, I call it my fresh sauce. Cilantro heavy with other green peppers, but the Piri Piri is what gives it the heat. They're roughly 100,000 Scoville heat units. I got these from Chili Chump. They're good either red or green. We use them a lot in the green sauces, but we're also gonna be using them a lot in red sauces. I'm gonna be freezing a lot of these, but I'm actually gonna use a lot of them fresh. At least a lot of the red ones fresh. I'm making a hot sauce tomorrow. This one right here is a Bordine Purple. I've grown bleeding Bordine before, and I absolutely love that pepper. This is a Bordine Purple. I haven't seen any purple from this, but this is just a standard, typical red super hot pepper. There's a ton of peppers on this plant, but so far this is all we have as far as what we can harvest today. If you've been around the channel for any amount of time, you know that I love my Pimento de Padrones. These peppers are the perfect jalapeno substitute in my opinion. Taste much better than a jalapeno, but they have roughly the same heat, maybe a little bit hotter, but not much. What we do is we put these in a cast iron skillet and roast them. And wow, these are some seriously good peppers. We use these a lot in green sauces, and I'm actually making some salsa tomorrow, and that's the main thing I'm gonna be using these in, is that salsa. We have a lot of these plants growing this season. This is probably one of my favorite peppers to grow. Pimento de Padrone, absolutely love them. Real quick, if you're wondering, what is he wearing? This is my sweet garden gear. Earlier on in the season, I realized that tomatoes and stuff were just kind of making my arms itch. So I ended up getting this stuff from Farmer's Defense. When you're getting your arms in and around all the plants, you don't get any of that itchiness on your skin. It helps keep you cool in the hot weather. And then obviously I've got my sweet straw hat. They've got tons of sleeves, hats, aprons, all sorts of farmer's gear, but great for gardeners as well. The next one we have here is a 7-pot pepper. And I used seeds from our plants last year. They grew true this year. I don't think they crossed with anything last year, but these things are seriously so cool. Each plant puts off so many peppers, and we actually had an issue this year because ants got into the root system of the plants for these, both of them actually. One of them is on its way out and the other one is completely dead. Before they died, they were able to give me a ton of peppers. These are one of the most prolific super hot peppers that I grow. They give me a ton of peppers and they're extremely hot, 1 million plus Scoville heat units. They work great in sauces, powders. I think last year I used them more for powders than anything. I dried them all, ground them up, used them for powders for tincture and stuff like that. They were awesome. This next one here is Purple Death, and honestly, these ones remind me of like a lime Ricky. I'm not gonna eat one right now because these are gonna be super hot for sure, but they're this super awesome greenish, purplish color. And these peppers are one of the most beautiful peppers in my garden this season. Nice, small, little kind of Carolina Reaper shaped peppers, but they are green and purple and just a really, really beautiful pepper. They've got these awesome tails on them, super awesome for hot sauces and stuff like that. Now these peppers are Hallows Eve peppers, and these aren't quite what I was expecting for Hallows Eve. For Hallows Eve, I've got 3 plants and 2 of them produce peppers just like this one here, but one of them produced peppers like this here where they're orange and they've got the really dark kind of shades in there. This is what I was expecting for Hallows Eve. A lot of what I got were these peppers right here, which are just these kind of almost ghost pepper looking plants, which I'm still gonna use them a lot, obviously in sauces, stuff like that. They're gonna be super hots. Either way, I'm still happy with them, but not quite what I ordered. These ones here are Brain Collapse Peach, and these are probably one of my favorite looking pods that I grew this season. This is gonna be a very, very hot pepper. Using them a lot in hot sauces and powders. Just super wrinkly, peach colored, super hot peppers. Extremely prolific. The plants that we have in there are just completely loaded up with peppers. I love this one. This one here is a new one that we started growing this year, and this is called Pimentus Spironis. I think that's how you say it. Pimentus Spironis, something like that. This is a, you know what? I don't know how hot this pepper is. Let's find out. Oh, that is good. That is so sweet. Definitely some heat in there. Extremely fruity on the front end. Beautiful, beautiful pods. They turn into like this creamish, purplish color. They start out similar color to the Purple Death, where they're kind of like a purple and green color. That's actually not too hot. I didn't get a lot of the seeds or placenta in there, so I didn't really get the hot part of the pepper, but that wasn't a very hot pepper. I'm actually really surprised. Wow, that is good. I'm gonna use that for sauce for sure. Next up, we have some Hatch Red Hot chilies. These are just your typical Hatch that you would get at like Harmon's or your grocery store where they roast them and stuff like that. For me, I've kind of used the Pimento de Padrones as a Hatch substitute, but this is the first year growing the Hatch peppers, and we're gonna kind of compare the two and see which one we like more. I'm still leaning toward the Pimento de Padrone. I just absolutely love those peppers. Now, Pimentus Spironis is hotter than I thought it might be. Next up, we have Chocolate Primitally. This is probably one of the hottest peppers here on the table. Seriously hot, scary looking, wrinkled up chocolate pod. I'm not gonna take a bite of that right now because I'll probably throw up. But I'll be sending a lot of these pods out to various people, then I'll be freezing the rest and using them for sauces later. This plant has put on tons and tons of pods, extremely prolific plant, but a lot of them are still green, so I'll be harvesting them later in the season. Next up, we have Thors Thunderbolt, and I'll be honest, I expected some bigger pods out of this one. They still held true to the typical Thors Thunderbolt, like creamish, purplish, wrinkled up pods, awesome, awesome, beautiful pepper. It's literally exactly what I pictured, except about half the size. These are gonna be a pretty hot pepper. I'm gonna be using them a lot in sauces. I'm also gonna be sending a lot of them out to other people. Thors Thunderbolt is a really beautiful, beautiful pepper, extremely prolific. I've got tons of peppers still left on the plant that I didn't harvest today because they weren't quite ready. The Dream, this pepper is a very purple color. It's purple, green, a little bit of cream when you let it go too long. Most of the time it's purple. These peppers are just a couple inches long, but absolutely beautiful. I can't tell you enough how beautiful these pods are. They seriously are just like the perfect little purple color with a little bit of green in there, and they would work perfect for powders or sauces. That's what I'll be using them for. Pretty much anything that's above maybe the 200,000 or 300,000 Scoville heat range, I'm gonna be using those for sauces and powders and stuff like that. I don't really use them in everyday cooking. The white Thai and pimento de patron, that type of stuff is what I'm using in the everyday cooking, not this stuff. Next up, we have the Cheerio Roxa. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce this, but these are just really kind of small UFO shaped pods, purple, green, cream, same colors as some of these other ones. Extremely beautiful plant. They're not very hot. They're more on the mild side, super sweet. Kind of takes a long time to harvest them because they're so small, but seriously awesome peppers right here. If you have any questions about any of these peppers here, what we use them for, what the Scoville rating on them is, anything like that, let me know. If you want a closer look at any of these, please let me know in the comments. I can also tell you where I got most of these seeds, maybe not all of them, but most of them. So if you have any questions, like I said, let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to let you know where I got the seeds from. If you got value from this video, go down and hit the like button, subscribe to our channel. We really do appreciate it. And then after that, go watch this video right here where we talk about the 6 most common pepper growing mistakes. If you want to grow peppers like this, go watch that video and I'll see you over there.